might be on, so I'm going to start talking again. Hi, everybody. Kent Martz from Explore Scientific. Having some technical difficulties here in the studio. The stream went live, didn't go live. Now it appears to be live again, so I'm going to start from the top. 3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
And there we go. We're back live again after being live, then not live, and now live again. So, sorry about that. Thanks for joining us. We think something happened in the Amazon Live platform, gave us the boot for some reason. Have a very small window after we say we're going to go live to going live, and if you miss it, you get closed down. I suspect that's what happened. So, welcome to today's show. It's on the wing because Thursdays are on the wing. We're going to be talking about birding specifically, and talking about binoculars and spotting scopes. While it's a birding show, we also know we can use binoculars for lots of other things. Animal watching, going to the beach and beach watching, watching sailing ships go by, or paddle boarders going out, towards the horizon. You can use them for sporting events, backpacking, hiking. They even make opera glasses that people go to the operas and use opera glasses, which are very low power, very small binoculars, but yet get you a little bit closer to the stage and let you see what's going on the stage even better. So our focus today is birds. Yes, Paul G. Newton, that is Kent Martz, as you well know, therefore. Anyway, we do have a chat function. If you will give us a shout out and tell us you're here, give us a howdy, a hello, or whatever it is you want to do. We'll be excited to give you a shout out back. Now, if you're new to the show, and we focus a whole lot on education, not just, just selling stuff. I try really hard to educate people about the devices that we're selling. If we earn your trust in business, we would love for you to give us a follow so you get to find out when we come back on with other shows. Fridays are generally focused on astrophotography. Mondays are How Do You Know? Tuesdays have become, I don't know what the show is called on Tuesdays. It's had gone through a couple of names. I think it was Fun Day Tuesday, where Annie talks about our educational and toy lines and gives you examples of that. Wednesday is First Light Chronicles, and that brings us back to today, Thursday, On the Wing. So here we go. Binoculars. We're going to start out with a really good seller on Amazon.com. And especially through Amazon Live. These binoculars are the National Geographic, right there. National Geographic 8x42 binoculars. The numbers are right here. All binoculars use this format. And if you can remember it, you know what's going on. The 8 means the eyepieces, right here, are 8-power magnifying glasses, basically. They're 8-power eyepieces, which means it makes the object you're looking at appear 8 times closer, or think about it as 8 times larger than you see it with your Mark I eyeballs. The next number, 42, refers to the objective end, the end of the binoculars where light comes in. The objective diameter is, you guessed it, 42 millimeters. So the 8 tells you how much magnification, the 42 tells you how big around they are. Bigger around, more light comes in, brighter image you see, you'll see more details. Now, this pair of binoculars is not waterproof. All the other binoculars I'm going to show you are. This pair is not. It's a very affordable priced over in the carousel, which is why we sell a lot of them. This is a great starter binocular if you have a kid or a friend or a spouse, loved one, whatever, is interested or maybe be interested in birding or using binoculars. A great way to get them into it is get them an inexpensive pair. Find out that they do, in fact, love using the binoculars, and then you can start upgrading. Or if you take care of these, those will give you long years of use. These come with twist-up eye cups, which makes it easier for people who wear glasses to see with them. I don't use the twist-up eye cups because I don't wear my glasses when I look through binoculars, but they're really helpful for many people. They have a standard interpupillary distance adjustment just by making them wide or narrow to fit the distance between the pupils of your eyes. Now, there are some people out there, like Paul Newton here, the director of this show, whose pupils are too far apart to use nearly all the binoculars. Hey, there's Daniel Serta. Hey, you want to come on the show today, Daniel? No, Daniel, I cannot get him to come on the show. We may have to take the show on the road and go into his office one of these days and show you what Daniel and Micah do for us. They're in the marketing and graphics department. Micah keeps the websites up. Yeah. So anyway, the National Geographic 8x42 binoculars over in the carousel right now. Click on them, learn more, and pick yourself up a pair. They qualify for Amazon Prime, as do, I believe, all the objects over here in the carousel today. Now, one great thing about birding is you want to understand the birds you're looking at and be able to identify them. Down in the carousel, you're going to see the National Geographic North American Field Guide. Let me see. Field Guide to North American Birds. Get the name right. It's over in the carousel right now. The National Geographic Field Guide to North American Birds. There it is. It's $15.79. I have two of them. One I keep on my desk, and one I use in my RV when I go camping to look at birds. Over the weekend, I bagged a couple of new birds on my life list that I've started since I started this show. And one was a swallow, a barn swallow. The other one was a chipping sparrow. There were also a number of other birds I never could find in the tree, despite maybe 2 hours of searching trees for them. I could hear them, but just never could lay eyes on them. I couldn't identify them by sound because it's not a bird familiar to me. I also saw some ruby-throated hummingbirds that I could hear going back and forth. I never did find a nest. And nests for hummingbirds are about the size of a quarter, little tiny things. And here's an interesting fact about hummingbirds. Hummingbirds cannot walk. Hummingbirds can, when they're on a branch, can sort of shuffle along a little bit, or a perch on a feeder. They can shuffle just a little bit, but they can't walk like you think most birds can walk. Hummingbirds cannot walk. They can only get around by flying. So I'm going to switch binoculars to the Alpine Magnaview 8x25. And do we have a bird picture popping up here, or do you just want me to go on, Paul?
Go on.
Okay, so these are the Alpine Magnaview 8x25 millimeter binoculars. This is a very compact pair of binoculars. So if you want a pair of compact binoculars, the trade-off is they have to be small. There's no such thing as a big pair of compact binoculars. They may be smaller, but they're not going to be able to do this. You can't put them in your shirt pocket like this pair. I can, if I can get the Velcro out of the way. And if you like the shirt I'm wearing, over in the carousel, you can see this shirt is over there for a fantastic price here on Amazon Live. So I can carry it in a shirt pocket, and they're nice and compact. They'll fit in a jacket pocket. Very easy to carry in a backpack or a day pack or something like that. You'll always have a pair of binoculars with you. So as we said, they're 8x25, which, as we know now, that means that they have 8 power eyepieces, so things look 8 times closer or 8 times larger, depending on how you want to think about it. Then you see them with your eyeball, and we know that the 25 means the objective lenses are 25 millimeters apart. So being a little bit smaller, they're going to transmit less light to your eye. But like most deals, if you want compact, you're going to have to make choices, and it's trade-offs. So the trade-offs is you end up with a very foldable, very portable pair of binoculars that are still full-featured. These are waterproof. They are argon purged. Now, you don't want to go scuba diving with them, but I don't know why you would, but you could if you wanted to, down to certain meters. But really, you really don't want to do that with a good pair of binoculars. They have a diopter right here, so you can focus for your left eye and then focus for your right eye, ensuring that your eyes have a really comfortable view through them. That comfort of your eyes not trying to force themselves to focus something differently than the other eye. Let your eyes relax, let your mind relax, and you start seeing more details. These are nice, lightweight, easy to hold up, elbows in, put them up against your forehead, and go to work. And putting your elbows in gives you good stability, right? That's one of the whole points, is getting some good stability. The more stable your binoculars, the more you're going to see. So these are the Alpine Magnaview 8 by 25 binoculars. These binoculars are fully multi-coated. So fully coated, when you see that term, means that the outside surfaces of the first surface and the last surface are coated. They have special coatings to enhance the views. Fully multi-coated means every surface of every piece of glass in here is coated. So the optics are fully coated with proprietary coatings. Those coatings brighten things, sharpen things, and make things look brighter and crisper in the eyepiece. It's one of the things that manufacturers do to enhance the use of these binoculars. The prisms are fine prisms that keep the images lined up for your eye. So once again, if you're just joining us, we'd love to hear a shout out from you. If you're watching us, I know there's probably a couple of regulars out there, and they're probably not going to do a shout out, but if you do, we'd love to hear from you and give you a shout out. If you give us a follow, we'll see your name, and we will appreciate that very, very much. Now, we're looking at a picture right here now of an invasive species. It would be known as the house sparrow. These sparrows are closely associated with humans. This is a male version, easily identified by the gray face, the chestnut crown, and the white shoulder patch and gray undersides. A bird that is closely associated with humans, as I said. In fact, this bird is about 6 feet away from me. I took it with my smartphone, and it is feeding on from a trash can at a Chick-fil-A, at a Panda Express, I think it was, not Chick-fil-A. A Panda Express, enjoying a feast of Chinese food. There were a number of them flitting around, and we're picking up food off the ground as well. I snapped a photo with my iPhone, and it's an invasive species because it's not native to the United States. It was brought over from England. I grew up calling them English sparrows, but they're properly called house sparrows, and they were brought over and released in America, in North America, and other places as well. So people would have a feeling of being back home. And there's a whole host of released species that now, fill the niches that other native species filled. And we'll look at this bird real quick. This is a great-tailed grackle. They are very large birds, like 18 inches long, and they're very gregarious, very not scared of humans. I took this picture in Fort Worth, Texas, on a parking lot when we were down there a couple of weeks ago. Very loud, obnoxious birds. Cool sound for a while, but when you get 20 or 30 of them in a tree all going to town with their calls, it becomes old after a while. But they're very large birds, very raucous. The females are gray and about half the size of the male, and the male has a very unique bright golden eye. There is also a species of bird very similar called the boat-tailed grackle that is common along the Gulf Coast and up the northeast coast a little bit. They tend to be coastal birds and very spectacular, noisy birds. Now this one right here, and we have a couple more we'll save, but this bird right here is an osprey that was taken at, I believe it was Lake Payson in Arizona. And there's a whole series of photos Jason Janes sent me, and we appreciate that. We're going to be using them on the wing broadcast. And clearly it has caught a fish, and the sequence shows it not diving on the fish and then coming out of the water with that fish. That's an osprey, a very large raptor that will actually go underwater at times. I have seen them splash hard on top of the water and make it underwater a little bit. During the pandemic, we were out kayak fishing on a little river here in northwest Arkansas, and one of them landed about 100 feet in front of us. It was spectacular. Did not come up with a fish, but I was most assuredly blessed with that sight of a big, beautiful bird like that. So moving on, we're going to talk about the Alpine 8 by 34 binoculars. The 8 by 34 binoculars, get it, turn, you see it? Right there it is. So we know the 8 means that it's 8 power. 34 means the objective lenses are 34 millimeters in diameter. This is a great pair of binoculars, a little bit bigger than the ones we just saw. Now, they're compact because they're not as big, but they're not going to fit in my pocket just barely. So this is a little bit bigger, not going to fit in a shirt pocket, but will fit well in a coat pocket, jacket pocket. They come with keeper rings and the eye cups, the protective objective eye cups, simply fold down and stay with the binoculars. The eyepiece covers have a little thing right here on this side, so you could put them here. And if I had the neck strap on, this would be attached to the neck strap, so you don't lose them either. Great pair of binoculars, twist-up eye cups, fully waterproof. They're argon or nitrogen purged, I believe, but they're purged, allowing the O-rings to do their job, keep moisture out. And with no moisture out, because they're waterproof, there's no water inside of them because they're purged. That purged gas is inert and it's dry. It does not absorb water, whereas air does with humidity. That inert gas will not. And so there's no moisture inside, so they are not going to fog up internally. So if they get wet, non-waterproof binoculars will potentially get water inside at some point. The temperature gets just right, and the humidity comes out of the atmosphere inside and goes onto the glass, just like when you take a glass of iced tea outside on a humid summer evening and it gets moisture on the outside. That's the humidity of the air, moisture in the air condensing on the glass. Same thing would happen in here. These won't do it. They're fully waterproof, so you don't have to worry about that. Again, these have fantastic optics, better coatings. The bigger the binoculars, the more expensive binoculars. You start getting better details, better coatings, multiple layers of coatings. Again, this is an 8 by 32. A lot of birders like this size of binocular because it's small, compact, yet offers a great magnification and good brightness. So won't focus here within about 10 feet, but probably 14 or 15 feet. Can't remember the specs on this specific binocular. Like all the Alpine binoculars, they come with, in addition to their eye cups, it comes with a great carrying case. And this is the carrying case for these binoculars. Double zippers, has a shoulder strap, and of course, every once in a while I get the zipper hung up on the cloth inside. Comes with a lens cleaning pin and a cloth as well. So a great kit here, nice protection for your investment on your binoculars. Always consider binoculars to be an investment, because if you treat them like an investment, they're going to last a long time and give you years and years and years of service. These are well built and designed exactly for that, to give you years and years of binocular viewing pleasure. That's the Alpine Wings 8 by 34 binoculars. Now, switching brands just a little bit. This is Aggressor, another brand that we sell. Comes in a very similar carrying case. We make everything we sell on the binocular side. So they come from our factories and are custom built for us. This is the 10 by 32s. So very similar to the ones we just looked at. The 8 by 34s, but some different numbers. So if we look at the numbers, we're going to see it's 10 by 32 right here. 10 power magnification eyepieces and 32 millimeter objective lenses. As you can see, they come with the flip down keeper rings and the standard hook to the shoulder strap or neck strap eyepiece covers. The 10 power give you more magnification than the previous model we looked at, which were only 8, and frankly all the ones we've looked at so far. The 10 power give you more magnification, so you can see things a little bit bigger than otherwise. Has a standard generous focuser on it. All the focus, by the way, is internal, so when you turn the focus, you don't see the eyepieces moving in and out. Less things to get damaged because everything's happening inside as well. These have a diopter on them, so you can focus your left eye with the focus wheel, cover it up, focus your right eye using the diopter. Now, once again, your eyes are going to be really nicely focus for your eyes, making your eyes relax and your brain relax as well. So what do I like about these? These are a little bit heftier. They feel really nice in my hands. The heft gives them just a little bit more, I don't know, something. They're not heavy, but they just feel slightly, you know, I don't know, just more robust. I really like this pair of binoculars as well. It's, as I said, the Aggressor brand, but equally great manufacturer, great pair. These are the Condor 10 by 32 binoculars. So, Paul, 10 by 32s. Yep, these are 10 by 32s, and I think that's what those are, aren't they? Yeah, those are them on the screen you've got running. That's some B-roll we've got. There we go. So, Paul, why don't you show us a bird while I'm switching to another? We got a couple more birds. Huh? Oh, B-roll still going? I'm sorry. So we'll get that B-roll done. If you don't, if you're sitting there going, what the heck is B-roll? B-roll is the term given to video we use that's already recorded. There you go. So we're going to get a bird up here. He's working on it. We're going to be looking at the Alpine Shasta Ridge 10 by 42 binoculars. This is a fantastic pair of binoculars. These were re-engineered. We call them the new Alpine or Shasta Ridge binoculars. They are beautiful to look through. These are 10 by 42. So these are, the previous was 10 by 32. This is the Shasta Ridge 10 by 42, meaning 10 power eyepieces, 42 millimeter objective lenses. Right there we go. Fantastic binoculars. I really like the feel of these. As we get more expensive, I really start liking the feel more and more. You know, everything's a trade-off. Buy what you can afford. If you can afford the National Geographic binoculars, buy them because they'll get you started down the road to this hobby. And that's what we want to do, is get people started in these hobbies, because birding is a fantastic hobby. When we launched the show, I don't know, close to a year ago now, I had grown up doing birding with my parents and remembered, you know, taking the days when you're in the 70s and late 60s when people would go out on Sunday drives and Mom and Dad would go out in the evening looking for birds. And I can remember the joy my mom got when she would see a painted bunting or an indigo bunting would just excite her to no end. Beautiful, lovely birds. And, you know, the painted bunting is multiple colors. The indigo bunting is basically colored indigo, all blue, and truly a spectacular bird. Both of those are. So, Paul, what bird do we have coming up? Do you? Oh, he's trying to make it fit into the window, so we'll just keep going until he does the cropping necessary. So these Shasta Ridge binoculars, again, all the Alpines we're looking at and the Aggressor are waterproof, fully multi-coated, with better and better coatings as we go up. Now, there's a big old hair on there. If I was going to clean these, you know, you want to blow, everybody wants to blow like that. Well, okay, that got it away. But I also know from having worked back in quality control that just talking releases molecules out of your mouth, and they will stick on the glass, and then after it dries, it becomes a spot. So while you want to blow on the glass to clean them off, it's going to be no big deal. I'll do the same thing with my glasses. I'll go and blow water off of them, or a little spot or something. That's all good, except that later on I find it's got spots on it. So we really try not to talk when we are around the telescopes that we're quality controlling in the workshop back in quality control. Same with the binoculars. You know, if you clean them, you don't want to be talking around them because you're going to be getting little droplets out of your mouth on the glass surfaces. But I did just blow away the hair, so I'm happy about that. All right, so the Shasta Ridge binoculars are second generation Shasta Ridge. They have an all rubberized coating. They have this crosshatch that really makes it a good grip, makes it easy to grip and get a hold of. The bridge design really fits my fingers, allowing me to get some pinkies down in there, pinky and the fourth finger down in there, to really get a good grip on these. So when I'm trying to focus, I am shoulders in, twist up eye cups out, up against my forehead, and then focusing. And here's the cool part of these. These will focus extremely close, just outside of the camera. So 10 feet away, 12 feet away, something like that. Fantastic pair of binoculars. The Alpine Shasta Ridge 10 by 42. These come in 8 by 42s as well. So, you know, whichever you want, a little bit magnification. Now, magnification, the 8 power is, because they're not quite so magnified, is going to appear a little bit brighter than the 10 power because all the light's coming in, but that magnification causes some reduction in brightness. Trade-offs for everything. If you want one thing, you got to trade off for things other times. So we appreciate the people who are out there watching right now. If you've never watched before, we would appreciate if you like what you're seeing, give us a follow. And if we're talking about one of these pairs of binoculars that you're interested in, click on that link over there and explore on your own, and maybe hit that buy button, and we'll get them shipped to you from Amazon, and they will qualify for Amazon Prime. The items we're talking about are over in the carousel today. So if you don't have a bird book, we like to recommend the National Geographic Field Guide to North American Birds. It is a very cool thing, and here we go, new bird coming in. Let's see what it's going to be. This is, oh, he cropped way in on that. Okay, this is a Eurasian collared dove, also an invasive species, a beautiful bird. Shot this one down in Fort Worth, Texas. You can tell it's a Eurasian collared dove because you can see the collar right there between its neck and shoulder. That collar goes in like a horseshoe all the way around its neck. This is an invasive species, and because it's not a native species to the United States. It's the Eurasian collared dove. It was introduced once again by people who wanted birds from back home here that they were familiar with, and it competes with the native mourning doves, banded tail pigeon, and the white-winged dove of the Southwest that is now spreading. I think I saw a white-winged dove a couple of weeks ago when I was on a trip. However, I couldn't get a picture of it to prove it. So with no picture, then there's no proof in that regard. I didn't have any binoculars, so a picture becomes the next best thing. So the Eurasian collared dove is an... Sir? What won't? The next one? The next one is a really cool bird. Okay, well, I'm going to go on to another pair of binoculars. Well, while you get your load dadgummit tool out, right? So, moving along to the Alpine Teton binoculars, 8 by 42. Now, these are much larger than the previous 8 by 42s we looked at. That is by design because they have significantly better glass, and these have what's called an Abbe prism. I'm not going to go into the math of the Abbe prism and why it is better than other prisms, but it is because of how it reflects and transmits the light through it. These two are waterproof, purged from the inside, inert gas inside, won't fog up, waterproof, and they're fully multi-coated. So as we know, the fully multi-coating means that the eyepieces are coated on both the first surface and the last surface, but every other surface of glass in here has a coating on it as well. Those coatings ensure sharp, crisp, even transmission of light, really enhances the brightness and the quality of the image you see in the eyepiece. Paul Newton loves this pair of binoculars. He was up shooting some B-roll in Iowa with one of our field staff, and it was late in the evening, and he picked a pair up, I believe, to look at a deer that the field staff guy had spotted. And Paul was amazed. It was almost dark, but yet looking through these was like looking an hour earlier. It was bright like daylight, not dim and dusk like he expected it to be. So we're going to go to a beautiful bird here in about 2 seconds. 1 second. Here we go. Roll that beautiful bird footage. That bird right there is an oak woodpecker. So obviously it's a oak acorn, and it is a bird that is tied to the acorn forests of California. It is a West Coast species up in the mountains that must have acorns to survive. Without acorn trees, there are no acorn woodpeckers. It's a beautiful bird, not a huge bird, medium-sized woodpecker, but is always associated with acorn trees in the mountainous west in California. Paul, what were you going to say?
I saw a full-size redheaded woodpecker. That big.
Redhead, well, did it have a full red head or did it have a crested red head? If it was a big bird, if it was a really big bird, it was probably going to be a pileated woodpecker, which is a bird of the forests. And redheaded woodpeckers, their head from their shoulder up is red. The pileated woodpecker has a red crest. A lot of people call any woodpecker with some red on it a red-headed woodpecker. But red-headed woodpeckers are about yay tall. But pileated woodpeckers are about yay tall, much larger birds, and make a completely different sound.
This bird was huge.
It was a pileated.
No, but it would, no.
If it was, I mean, huge is relative. Your huge and my huge are different huges.
It was a shoulder or bottom of the neck up red head.
Then they stand about a foot to 13, 14 inches tall.
But it wasn't a capped.
Whereas the pileated woodpeckers are, significantly larger, 18, 20 inches, beak to tail, maybe larger than that. And their calls are completely different. Did you hear the call?
No, it was flying away. But it was not a... it was an actual woodpecker.
If it had a fully red head from the shoulder up, then it indeed was a mature red-headed woodpecker. Woodpeckers, especially red-headed woodpeckers and other varieties of woodpeckers, require standing dead timber. Without standing dead timber, you will not have some species of woodpeckers.
There was plenty of that.
Plenty of standing dead timber.
Yes.
Because that's where they live and where they find much of their sustenance. Other woodpeckers don't require standing dead timber. The acorn woodpecker requires standing timber producing acorns. And what's cool is you'll see the woodpeckers will peck holes in the bark of the trees and then hammer the acorns into the tree. And I can't remember the numbers, but one woodpecker was recorded to have stashed tens of thousands of acorns in one fall going into winter, and they remember where they put the acorns and go back and get them. They are hammered well in there, and squirrels even have trouble, can't just come by and snatch them out. So a very
the other
cool
day,
woodpecker.
I was driving back from a holiday island, and there was this massive bald eagle in the road.
Yep, carrion eater.
Eating a squished possum.
Yep. Armadillo on the half shell, or a possum, or any roadkill. The American bald eagle is a spectacular bird. If you've ever seen one, they are huge. And they are raptors. They are fish eaters, but they are also opportunistic feeders as well. You'll see pictures of them at fish processing plants up in Alaska, picking up the scraps that come out of the discharge. They will raid trash cans. They're wild birds looking for the easiest buffet they can get, and if that means they help clean up the roadsides, they will do that because it's an easy meal. And they're
extremely big.
If you've never seen one up close, you need to go to the zoo or,
the ones in the zoo are always smaller.
Sometimes if they're mature birds with a broken wing and can never, be released in the wild, they're bigger. But, I saw one at the Tulsa Zoo that was just, Paul, was absolutely just astounding to get close to. And, any bird you need to treat with respect. You don't want to go up, if you're around a bald eagle, you don't want to go up to it and try and, take a picture of it or do stuff. You have to remember these are wild animals and they're very big birds. And I saw a story yesterday about a woman who wanted to get a picture of herself with a wild bison in Yellowstone. And
Yeah.
she apparently did get the picture she
That
wanted.
wasn't-
She got the selfie, and then she got the horns, and she got
Is she-
gored extremely
she's-
badly.
Is
And
she alive? I thought it killed
it
her.
may have killed her, tossed her in the air like 10 feet.
Yeah.
You know, you have to respect
Don't
wild
mess
animals.
with the bison, man.
You have to respect big animals. For, I don't know, more than a decade, I had a herd of cattle, and people would get out, climb the gate, and go out and try and get a picture of them standing next to a cow with it. And, you know,
Don't
cows
mess with
weigh
bison.
1,500 pounds, you know, our cows did. And, you know, our bulls were 2,000. We had one bull that weighed 2,400 pounds, a big Brangus bull. And if he wanted to, he would turn a human being into a grease spot in just a few seconds. I was amazed at how people just have no sense when it comes to walking up to animals they don't know and acting like they're sweet, docile creatures. And a cow doesn't mean to hurt you, but boy, they can hurt you real bad. Now, a bull might mean to hurt you. There's some cows out there that'll mean to hurt you too. You know, if you
Cows.
see,
I
if
I
you-
was working the auction at here in
Springdale
Springdale.
auction, the old cattle auction, yeah.
Yeah, and so it was like 4 in the morning. It was like -7, and this dude yells, "Hey, get out of the way! Here comes the crazy cows! Crazy cows!" He's actually yelling, "Loco, loco!" But so anyway, here comes these longhorns, and I'm like, you know what? It's too early, late in the morning, and it's too cold. I just jumped up on the fence and said bye. I don't even care.
There's been some close calls I've had with some semi-angry cows.
Longhorns will get you, man.
Because their horns stick out and they just.
That was the only
Hook you.
cows
Hook
that
you
we
as they go
ate
by.
in the late 1800s.
Yeah.
We didn't have the
Hamburger's
cows
better
you see today.
Meat
Huh?
is better today. Longhorn cows are, they're tough animals, but you got to cook them long and slow. So anyway, my fault we sidetracked on the wild animals and cows, but look.
Well, no, that's what this is about.
If you want to be careful, if you get close to a bald eagle or any raptor, you got to treat them with respect because those talons are razor sharp. They'll cut all the way through a fish. Their bills, their hooked beak is designed for ripping flesh. They're not aggressive
The
to
buzzards
humans.
are dangerous too.
Buzzards, just stay away from wild animals, big birds like that.
If you go to Holiday Island,
Yeah.
there's a restaurant out there right before Holiday Island. It's just kind of hidden by the Beaver Bridge exit. Mm-hmm. And before that, there's a guy, I think he just raises these buzzards.
We've been invaded by black buzzards. You can't call them an invasive species. They're expanding their range. But black buzzards have, they're vultures, really. The turkey vulture is the vulture that I grew up seeing. I didn't see a black vulture until maybe 10 years ago.
Well, I don't know if these are vultures or not.
There's no buzzards in the United States. Buzzards are a European and African
I'm sure there's
species.
some somewhere.
We'll look them up at the Field Guide of North American Birds here in a little bit.
Yeah. Arkansas also says there aren't any cougars in the state, and I know that's not true.
They don't say that exactly. They say there is no remnant population of mountain lions in the state. They don't say that there's no mountain lions roaming free because people who had mountain lions as pets either escaped or let them loose. And there's pretty darn good evidence now that they're reproducing. But the Game and Fish Commission marks their words very carefully in saying there's no remnant population. In other words,
Revenant?
no mountain lions have survived. All the mountain lions were expirated.
What if there's
extinct means they're gone, they're never coming back. So extinct in the Arkansas is not really the term.
Expatriated?
Expatriated? Yes, that's it. Expatriated. Very good, Paul. Thank you, sir.
They no longer have a country.
So it's something like that. So it means that they're gone from this area. Well, remnant populations. On with binoculars, neck straps. Let's talk about neck straps here.
I'm not supposed to talk anymore either. I'm supposed to be quiet.
This has been fun. Going down the rabbit hole.
I'm not allowed to talk.
Going down the rabbit hole. Neck strap. Back in the day, my father had, I don't know, from the 60s or 50s. His binoculars had a really narrow black, really hard plastic neck strap. Dig in your shoulder, dig in your neck. Weren't pleasurable. This shoulder strap right here is neoprene, stretchy, comfortable, has a no skid on the inside. Will go on your shoulder, go on your neck, and really that nice wide band really makes these things enjoyable for carrying binoculars around your neck. All the good Alpine binoculars come with them. All the good Alpine binoculars, after a certain price point, they all come with these binoculars. So moving from, one thing we want to talk about real quick about binoculars, almost knocked the sun catcher over, is a way to use binoculars without having to hold your hands. This is the Alpine tripod adapter over in the carousel. Really inexpensive, but if you already have a tripod or can buy a tripod, we don't sell any tripods right now. This mini tripod came off of a spotting scope that comes with it. Almost all binoculars right here have a little cap. See that little cap right there? There it is. Okay, so it goes right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on, show you how it goes. I'm going to hold it with my left hand so I can get down and screw this on. It simply screws into that little hole right there. Let's let Paul get the camera set and you get back, and I'll just show you this all again so we get a good close-up here, right? I'll put this back in. And a lot of people don't know this. I've done this before, and people went, I didn't know that unscrewed. And by golly, they learned something. That unscrewed. So, all right, Paul, I'm ready for you. We good?
Well, I can't do it just yet.
You don't have a long enough.
How this works?
You don't have a long enough arm to reach 12 feet over there and click that button?
That's how this works.
Yep. And here comes the camera switch. If you're just joining us, we'd love for you to give us a shout out and say hey, so we know you're here. That would just be fantastic. We'll give you a shout out back. Okay, so here we go. Almost all binoculars have a little black cap right here that looks like just a cover for a hinge. And it is, but it also serves another purpose. It unscrews right there. See? Boom, and it fell off. So it exposes a little hole right there, right? So I'm going to take the Alpine tripod binocular and take the screw side of it, put it in that hole right there, and screw it down tight. And notice I'm holding this off at an angle, not so you can see this, but it allows me to now tighten it a little bit more until it gets tight right there. Now I can do this really cool thing, and I can put this pair of binocular on any 1/4 to 20 tripod. That 1/4 to 20 describes the threading on most North American tripods. It's 1/4 thread to 20, millimeters in diameter. So there we go. Nice standard. You can hook it onto a tripod. This tripod has slow motion controls on it. As I said, we don't sell this tripod by itself, but it gives you an example of what's out there. And now you can, if you want to, raise the tripod up and get it to where you can now look into the binoculars. Huh?
This camera's on.
Oh, that
this
camera's on.
Is not on.
Oh, I thought you had that camera on.
No, because I'm trying to get
Okay, so here we go. So you can see how I can get this over here in binoculars and can use it to hold the binoculars up. I'm trying to.
now point it to the other camera.
Go to camera 2.
Yeah.
There we go.
Pull your face back. We'll see your eyeballs. Or almost.
I'm almost lined up. Let me.
A bit hard.
Let me just unloosen this. Unloosen. There we go. Can you see my eyeballs in there?
Yeah.
It's creepy. It's like a horror movie, isn't it?
Not really. It's just weird.
Yep, great fun. All right, so fun with optics. This is the Alpine tripod adapter. As you can see, it really gives you a long time in the field because you're not having to hold the binoculars up. Obviously, they're not as mobile. You're going to have to point the binoculars, but like we said earlier, everything has a trade-off. If you want to not use your arms, then you're going to have to use a tripod, and a tripod adapter like this one is the route to go. So I'm going to switch over to, and I'm going to keep this tripod here for the next thing we're going to look at. The next thing we're looking at is,
7 minutes.
7 minutes, all right. The next thing we're looking at is the Alpine 20 power to 60 power spotting scope. This is the Apex spotting scope. Right here it is. It comes with this keeper that'll go inside, and because the end unzips, you can have this sleeve on to help protect it. It's waterproof, but this still helps it protect it from the elements. So you're able to use it even if you've got the sleeve on, and that's pretty cool. So this is the spotting scope, and this end piece is designed to stay on really well. I have to always work hard to get this to come out, and you're gonna have to pull it with my right hand. There we go. Right hand is stronger than the left hand. I'm right-handed. Go figure. So this is the spotting scope. It has an 80 millimeter objective. Let me get down here. It has an 80 millimeter objective right there, and an extendable dew shield. Let the camera get set. Has an 80 millimeter objective lens right here, see? And it's got a extendable dew shield. Then right here is the coarse focus knob. And notice when I turn it, that fast one just spins to beat the band. That means this is the slow motion knob. I can do this and get into pristine, sharp, clear, perfect focus. This is fully coated optics, waterproof, so it's purged. This is a fantastic device. It has a 20 power zoom lens, so it goes from 20 power and it zooms all the way up to 60 power right there, all in a small compact package. 80 power is much larger than most binoculars. Spotting scopes, there are plenty of big binoculars out there. You're going to have a tripod to hold them. A spotting scope has some great uses. Here's one way you can use it. It too will attach to the tripod. It has a 1/4 to 20 tripod screw on it. And one nice thing right here is that I like is if you're sitting down and need to, like here, and hunters will use them, rifle here, you know, look at something, or binoculars and want to get a closer look, you can use this screw right here to turn this and get it so you're looking here, and then you can go look in here, and then look here, and then look here. A lot of hunters use things just like this. Birders as well will use spotting scopes because you can put them on a tripod, you can put them on a tabletop, or if you look over in the carousel, we also have a cool little thing over there that lets you mount them to the window of your car. It's a little sleeve that goes over your window, and then you can screw your spotting scope into it just like a tripod, and then set it on your window, and now the window is holding up your spotting scope, so you don't have to try and hold it up, and you can use it from your car. It is not an item we sell. However, it's available on Amazon.com, and so we felt like we can put it in the carousel and expand your birding opportunities by offering items that we don't sell, but makes it easy for you to find them. Once again, this is the Alpine Apex. Apex meaning the very top, right? Think mountains. The Alpine line is named after a lot of mountains. Shasta Ridge, you know, Magnaview is not a mountain, but there's mountain names in them. Tetons, and Apex is the pinnacle of the line. This is a fantastic spotting scope. I have a friend who is preparing to buy one of these because he's wanting to do some, was looking for a telescope, but you have to have all sorts of things to make it do in land and wanted to have more magnification. But Rect Image Viewfinder makes things backwards. Well, the prisms in here in a spotting scope, make everything just like you're looking at. Left is left, right is right, up is up, and down is down. So this is a really nice spotting scope, has a generous 45-degree angle, makes it easy to look down and through. Some have a straight through, so the eyepiece would be right here. They have their trade-offs. They do some things better than this one. I like the 45-degree angle. The close focus makes it really nice. Not the close focus, the fine focus knob really lets you just get really tack sharp. Lots and lots of birders use spotting scopes. Can't recommend them enough for that. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up this broadcast of June the 2nd's On the Wing. Hard to believe that it's the 6th month of the year and the year is nearly half over. Time flies when you have fun. Oh, we got another 6 months and 3 weeks, and the year will be over.
We've been doing this for 6 months.
Oh, we've been doing the show for 6 months. Yeah, we're on episode like, more than that now. We're on episode like 45 or something. Andy's been keeping track of that.
No, we've been doing this. We've got over 100 live streams.
Not on the wing, do we?
Just in general.
Yo, just in general. Oh gosh, we got, Global Star Party live stream at night.
Just on Amazon.
Oh, just on Amazon. Yeah, we've been doing Amazon. We started, I think, December 28th or something like that. Right after Christmas, we just sort of stumbled on doing it, and it's like, okay, let's just do it. And, I haven't gone back and looked at those original episodes, but, for not knowing what we're doing, we jumped in front of the cameras and jumped into Amazon Live. We have been an early adopter of that platform in the educational and telescope binoculars sort of realm, and that's where we're at. So we appreciate you giving us a few minutes of your day. Thank you very much for honoring us with that. For Paul Newton over in the camera booth, director's chair, all that other stuff that Paul does that makes these broadcasts look great. The lighting is fantastic. He's good at doing that. It's more than just one light. We've got right now 1, 2, 3, 4 lights. There's sometimes we have as many as 5 or 6, depending on the products he's trying to light. He's got to set that all up and move it around and make it look pretty, and he does a really good job of that. Noah Menard, Marketplace Menard, does a fantastic job working up better descriptions and better quality. The Amazon site up and current, and we appreciate that very much. He gives us a happy wave from over there. So, on behalf of Explore Scientific, I am Kent Martz. I will not be here tomorrow. Probably Annie or Tyler One will be doing the shows. It will be focus on astrophotography. I'll be traveling to St. Louis to go to the Mid-States Regional of the Astronomical League Convention. If you're an astronomer and want to know some more information about the Astronomical League, look them up. So I am going to bid you farewell, and I will see you next Monday right here on Amazon Live. Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.